Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Esenamapin and I'm here for business. The Institute of Directors Ghana is calling on President Akufo-Addo to amend aspects of the Presidential Transition Act to allow board members and chief executives of key government businesses stay in office after change of government. This, the Institute believes, will enhance good corporate governance practice in the public sector. President of the Institute, Roxanne Dugbega, made the call at an ongoing conference on corporate governance in Accra. Ebenezer Sabote has more in the following report.
The 2019 Corporate Governance Conference focused on issues relating to the management of state and private institutions with a social impact on individuals. According to the Institute of Directors Ghana, the section in the Ghana Presidential Transition Act, which compels all boards of governance to dissolve due to the change in government, is not a good practice in corporate governance. President of the Institute of Directors, Roxanne Dugbega, in an interview, explains how critical an amendment to this section will be.
Succession planning. Our current transitional act doesn't make good succession planning. In fact, this act indicates that upon the swearing in of the president, automatically all boards are dissolved. What it means is that it paralyzes everything, and it doesn't make governance of state-owned enterprises smooth. Good corporate governance practices encourages succession planning. So that is an appeal we're making to His Excellency the President, that there's a need to have a second look at that act.
Meanwhile, Mohammed Awal, who represented President Akufo-Addo, emphasized the need for small and medium-scale enterprises to adhere to corporate governance rules in order to sustain their businesses.
Across Africa, SMEs constitute about 92% of all businesses, but only few of them are able to transition beyond their founders. The SME sector contributes about 60% to GDP, but 75% or 85% of them do not survive their founders. And one key reason for that is poor corporate governance practices. One challenge I want to leave with this conference today is please try and fashion out how you can improve corporate governance practice among Ghanaian and African SMEs so that they can survive their founders, create jobs, and employ people. It's very important for us.
The conference brought together directors from across 19 African countries and members of the Institute of Directors Ghana.
Products exported from Ghana to the European Union may soon be rejected if they do not meet the standards of having components of recycled materials in them. This was made known by the ambassador of the European Union delegation to Ghana, Diana Ankosia, during a seminar to discuss the opportunities for Ghana's circular economy.
A circular economy is defined as an economic system aimed at minimizing waste and making the most of resources. It is a model which helps countries to efficiently manage waste. So far, the European Union is leading the pack with one of its goals to make plastics recyclable by 2030. For Ghana's goal of becoming a country beyond aid, a circular economy will be a step in the right direction. Head of the EU delegation in Ghana, Diana Ankosia, charged entrepreneurs to harness the waste generated as good business ventures.
It is extremely important because it's good for them as a business. They will make more profit using waste, and it will be a necessity because soon, particularly if they want to export to European Union and to other developed countries, the consumers are going to ask for it. The consumers in Europe want to know more and more how a product is made. To have a component of waste recycling in a product is going to become a huge marketing advantage for any business that wants to embark in export, and I hope soon in Ghana consumers will start asking the same questions.
Also present at the seminar was the Deputy Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Patricia PJ. Speaking on the need for waste management, she assured that governments will soon enforce waste segregation with the introduction of new waste bins.
In Ghana, our waste composes of organic and the larger portion of our waste is in organic waste, but we also have a certain percentage in the plastic waste. And if we can ensure that we dispose of this waste appropriately by providing bins for all households, and therefore we can recover the entire waste that is generated within the system, it will be possible to turn it around and reuse it for circular purposes.
The circular economic model will also help Ghana achieve its drive towards industrialization. For Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
So what exactly is Ghana's waste situation? Take a look at this. Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Osechi Mensah-Bonsu is warning there will soon be no funds in the running of GNPC subsidiary wing Exploco. Exploco was set up in 2013 to lead the national oil company's investment into the exploration of oil blocks. But the majority leader says the move was disingenuous as it was against the advice of Parliament. He says that the continuous existence of the firm is not the best.
If you heard me, I even related to the motive for even creating the GNPC Exploco. Why? Because we as ourselves, I mean as a country, as Parliament, we have come to some agreement that no, the antecedents of GNPC, their overbearing posture and the effect on the national economy, the wastage that happened in the 80s, we're not going to encourage that again. So we said they were going to be regulators and not industry players. That's the law that we have fashioned. And now then they migrate outside to create another vehicle and say that they are going to fund it. When they themselves are fully funded by the state, what does it mean? A very disingenuous way of resurrecting their interests. So the motive for establishing Exploco itself should be questioned. But of course, we are out of that. And that's why we have zero rated it. And don't forget, as I reminded, in the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, we said to ourselves that 15 years after we started funding GNPC, because now they take about 40-45% of our national revenue, derived from petroleum. And we have said that 15 years from the creation of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, we're going to stop. Do you know that we are into our 10th year? 5 years from now, the nation is not going to fund them again. So if they are not going to fund them, where are they going to get money to fund the Exploco? And they are not in a position to borrow on account of their own money, on their own books.
Pensions regulator to ensure about 1 million informal sector workers have pension schemes. That's according to Chief Executive Officer of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. That's what we have next in the local news.
The National Pensions Regulatory Authority has said that it is working on new policies to ensure that the more than 10 million workers in the informal sector are able to access a pension scheme. The current three-tier pension system does not favor the informal sector in that most workers do not have a regular source income like salaries, which is a major factor that inhibits their contribution to a pension scheme. Tension is brewing at First Atlantic Bank as more employees of the financial institution, particularly those from Estival Energy Commercial Bank, are to be sacked by July this year, mynewsgh.com has gathered. The affected staff will largely come from the business department and units, sources confirmed. Ghana's economic future looks positive as 31 envoys have assured of their preparedness to woo top businessmen from their respective countries to invest in the country in order to expand the economy and create wealth for the people.
The news continues after the break, but I have more business news after 8 p.m. Thanks so much for watching.